doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-man week. Come at you with topics.
We are back once again. This episode
44.
This episode here, episode 44.
Yes, sir.
Something special, man. It's near and dear to me, Hill, and Cannon, because it's a great milestone, man. It's our anniversary, dude.
1 year anniversary, yo.
We made it 1 year in the pod. It's amazing. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, man.
Facts, the people that have been along with this journey have seen the growth. Like, the social media is growing. My daughter she know the theme song, you know.
100.
It's crazy.
From where we started to now, so we've only gotten, better, a little bit more polished, a little bit more experience, and we still barely even scratch the surface. We still got a lot more we need to learn, still a lot more we can improve, and that's why we put it all on our little supporters to really give us feedback, give us honest feedback. We try to make sure that if you're giving us your time, we want to make sure it's worth it. We want to make sure that you're enjoying it.
Facts.
You're also going to hear what we have to say, spark some debate. That's why we love our supporter questions.
Yeah.
That's why we welcome all of the social media interaction that we can get, because that's just a way that we can kind of see where everyone else's head at, see how you guys feel about a certain situation. So before we go any further, Hill, where can they find us at?
Oh, you can catch us on all You can catch us on all major podcast platforms, 3-Man Weave. You can Instagram, Twitter, 3-Man Weave _ You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. I'm Hill. I'm going to Hill regardless. That's AJ, El Presidente. Cannon got mono.
He was at the kickback with Sam Darnold.
I don't know what was going on with him, but he was a little under the weather. Doctor's orders. He had to, too much talking would be strenuous to his recovery. So we wish him to get well. To piggyback what you were saying earlier on our journey, want to give we hold integrity very high.
Absolutely.
So we just not gonna report anything crazy. On top of that, we not just gonna say anything crazy. I know you may not agree with everything we may say, but it's some logic behind it. And there's some and if you think about it, it's gonna, you may not, like I said, once again, you may not agree. It's gonna make sense once you really listen. So
absolutely.
Ain't no clout chasing.
We wanted to make sure that we didn't want to just come up here and just give you our opinion. We always try to think things through logically. We try to make sure that when we say something, we able to stand behind it and have some sort of, hey, this is why we said what we said, and some type of proof and some type of research. It may not come from your mainstream media. It may not be their research. It may be just things that, as two normal human beings who have common sense, are able to give you a common sense perspective. So that's one of the things that we like to think that we do here, is really just put things in a simple form where it's just like, that makes sense.
Make it make sense.
So I want to jump right into it.
Oh, man.
Speaking of, our perspective and making things make sense, a couple of days ago, I went on Instagram TV. I talked about the Fair Pay to Play Act out there in California. I'm not sure if anyone else has been able to see, but ESPN's very own Tim Tebow gave his thoughts on that, and just kind of want to know, what were your thoughts on what Tim Tebow had to say? Yep.
The funny thing about it, that Tim Tebow's thoughts were very organic. They was authentic. They're very genuine to his perspective. He was very passionate. He articulated what he meant. It was good if you agree with his stance. But what he failed to realize, or what he actually did articulate, was the epitome of white privilege. the fact that he said he had the number one selling jersey. He didn't want to make money off it. He didn't want to make money off of it. The fact that because he didn't need money.
He didn't need it. He doesn't understand the struggle, and not even just the struggle. He doesn't understand what it's like just to be from the lower / middle class. To have that check, like where it's like,
and it was crazy because I was like, he can't be this naive or blind to what's going on because he had teammates that came from a impoverished background. Like he cannot be this naive and this blind to actually think that. For example, he didn't actually think that Percy Harvin, his teammate, actually came there because he wanted the college atmosphere in Florida.
And that's one of my biggest points where I really don't like what Tim Tebow said. He said, you come here for the legacy and to be on this campus and to help your school win championships, and it's about the purity. 80% of his teammates most likely went there because they felt Urban Meyer was that best stepping stone to get them to the pros. They didn't get there because they were like, I just love Florida. Yes, some people really do love the school that they go to, but you know what? Half the time it's because that's the school that they ended up going to. It's not the school that they just, this is my dream school. That happens sometimes, but once you start getting those offers in, hey, who gonna get me to the pros? Who gonna help me win championships? And who gonna help me get this money?
Right.
I mean, Reggie Bush is from Southern California, but I bet had another school threw the bag at him like USC did. He might have went there too.
It just didn't really, like I said, I know he wasn't a prop. I know what he said.
He wholeheartedly believed every single word he said.
Fact,
and
yes.
And hearing him talk makes me understand how he made it to the NFL and threw like he was a right-hander, even though he was a lefty. Hearing that speech alone, like, you know what? He can motivate me to do anything.
Facts.
Except play college football. So that's my point. Like, look, hey, bro, you know what? I love the passion. I love the heart. That don't put no food on my table, dog. That don't keep these lights on. You know what I'm saying? So he was speaking as privilege, and then and it really stuck out to me when he kind of cut Stephen A. and Max off saying, I think I have a little credibility on this issue.
Oh, that was the.
And I was like,
But
you have credibility.
He did.
As a white man, you have credibility, but you don't. Just because you have credibility doesn't mean you can speak for everyone.
That's the thing.
And so you love the purity of the game and the amateurism, but you know what? You had enough financial stability in your life where you can afford to make billions of dollars for somebody else while you taking these hits for free, bro. No.
You had enough financial stability that you didn't really have to bounce around in the NFL. Like, let's be honest. You went through your first contract, you didn't even make it out your first contract, and you only bounced around 2 teams, and you like, you know what, this ain't for me. They ain't rocking with me.
And where I'm really disappointed in Stephen A. of all people, he did not press Tim Tebow at all. He was just like, okay, I can agree with that.
Honestly, what did you expect? Because if you sitting in that moment, if you sitting in that moment, Tebow pulled a Tebow. That moment was like a percentage of that speech that he gave. Remember when they lost that game? And he gave you that speech? Oh, I would never do this again. I would never do. And it was so passionate. And they got caught up in the moment. And it made, like I said, it was passionate. That was a Tebow speech. You're gonna freeze. You're gonna freeze in that moment. I understand that that Stephen A. should have backed him in the corner and told him another perspective. He should have defended us at that moment. That was his platform. That's his show. That was his time to pop out for us. And he didn't. He dropped the ball.
Basically pulled a Nicki Minaj on him and just took over the whole first take with that speech. I'm like, dog, you're not even gonna give a follow up. You just like when. A good interviewer always has a follow-up question.
Great analogy.
And so I'm just like, y'all not gonna say that? Y'all just gonna that's it.
I just wanted to say, on the spot, freestyle, passionate. Your response was very articulated well. you really hit. I don't even really have. I didn't have nothing much to say. Like I was so like at that point, like you my bro, so I was like, oh yo, I'm proud of AJ right now, cause like you really popped out and really hit your points home quick, and like I said, I was proud to be part of your team on that one, right? Like I said, behind Jay Billis, you the one gonna get him paid, bro.
Because this is something. Even though I didn't play college sports, but to me, I'm just very passionate about this because I just see how unfair it is, man, and how these players they literally break their backs. For these schools, and
you didn't pay college sports, but you was a poor college student. Like
exactly,
we can relate.
Like, and I know. And another thing is like, think about these players who actually go to like Division II, Division III schools, who don't like who they're who some of them they actually go to these schools to play sports, knowing that they're not gonna get to the NFL, knowing that hey, you know what, I can leave this game with all these concussions and not see a single dime from this ever. So, like I said, there's always money to be around until it's time to pay these players. I'm not asking for $1 million contracts for the college students. I'm just saying, look, hey, it's something that is way more than nothing, if you ask me. Especially for the time spent. You spend more than a full-time job. It's almost more than 40 hours a week. Pretty much, sport, especially football.
That's why I only asked for minimum wage. Like I wasn't asking for nothing crazy, but.
So we got week 1 and 2 in the books for the NFL. What have you liked that you've seen so far from some teams, man? What are your surprises going on?
What are my surprises? I'm not surprised, to be quite honest. Okay. Because everything that's going on is what I thought so far. Like the Seahawks are actually looking like the team that I really thought they could be.
Yeah.
They had. I mean, you know, the Seahawks. I mean, of course I can talk about my Cowboys, but I'm not. They're handling business. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they had, like you say, 2 cupcakes on their schedule, and they handled business once again.
As they're supposed to.
But Lamar put on another performance, you know, that I was very happy about. I'm not, like I said, I'm not surprised. Like I said, the Eagles, they lost to the Falcons, which was a very Madden-esque game. Like,
yeah. And that's very shocking.
Who's really who wants to lose, basically, like, or
100%.
Like, but the reservation that I had about the Eagles really showed in that game. Like, Deshaun Jackson gets hurt, Wentz gets hurt, the secondaries look shaky, and those were the reservations that I had at the beginning. So once they all highlighted in that game, I didn't think it was gonna come to fruition in week 2. But like, it's only week 2. It's no need to overreact. There's no need to overreact. There's no need to just buy your Super Bowl tickets already. It's just, you know what? What I'm surprised about, I'm surprised on how quick Antonio Brown just looked like Antonio Brown with Tom Brady.
You know what? I'm not, because Bill Belichick is the most detail-oriented and observant coach I think we have ever witnessed.
Yeah.
He's, no matter who he goes against, it's almost like he knows how to exploit an exact weakness, and he knows how to utilize his players as best possible. I mean, when Wes Welker and Julian Edelman came in the league, were those players that you seem like, oh, they're going to be around a while. But Bill Belichick, he was like, give me those guys. I can turn them into Pro Bowlers. I can turn them into not necessarily top tier guys, but I can make them weapons and forces. So when you actually give Bill Belichick someone who is actually elite and top tier, they don't lose a game. We've seen that.
But all right, this is my thing. Antonio Brown has some of the quickest feet in the league. He runs some of the best routes, but some of his routes are a little unorthodox. what we've been told from the Patriots is if I tell you to run a 10 out, 10 yard out, that your foot better hit that 10-yard line and run this out. He's more of a he put some little swag on his routes, more so kind of like of a mold of Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, and which when he had some of the quickest feet, he ran some of the best routes. But once again, he didn't run those textbook type routes. So I was a little surprised that fast.
But you know what you do for elite talent? You make it work. You make adjustments. Just like, I mean, Randy Moss, when they got there, nobody ever called Randy Moss an elite route runner. But you know what they did when they got Randy Moss? They made that shit work because it's Randy Moss. And that's what I'm saying. I had no reservations about when they got Antonio Brown that it was not going to work almost instantly. That's why when I heard they got Antonio Brown, I was like, hey, he'll change my Super Bowl team. Because, they may not win it, but they going to be there for sure. And so it's just like, yeah, man, I honestly think, hands down, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life.
I mean that's easy. He's easy. I don't even know who's number 2. That's
No. I'm talking about in all the sports that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because we know that football is such a hard game to win because you have so many moving parts.
You make it easy.
You have, at one time, you could have 11 players on the field for just one phase of the game. And it's almost like they minimize their mistakes on all 3 phases so well, consistently, year by year. It's not that they just win and then they may not go to the playoffs for a couple years and then they win again. Ever since Peyton Manning retired, they've been in every single Super Bowl. What?
Yeah, I'm just laughing, bro. Cause it's sad. Man, let's get to what you wearing to the Steelers funeral.
All black. Join the misery, baby. Join it. Come on. You know what's even crazier? Everybody Super Bowl pick in the AFC North, the Browns. They got blown out the first game of the season. So come on here too. Let's watch Lamar Jackson light this league up right quick.
Now, this is the funny thing about it. I don't wish injury on nobody. That's what I don't do. I'm not going to, wish injury on anybody. That's a fake move right there.
Oh, I would never wish injury on anyone either.
But what I did what I did say on this podcast, I said the Steelers need to be doing everything possible to be getting Mason Rudolph ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that because Big Ben has an injury history. Now, that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. He has
100%.
He has an injury history. Secondly, last week when like you say they looked bad last week. They got tore up by the Patriots. And they fought this week against the Seahawks. But like I said, they was all preaching, oh, we got the cancers out of the locker room. We got rid of Le'Veon. We got rid of Antonio Brown. We're going to be better. The morale of the locker room is going to be better and all that. It's all this and all that. And then next thing you know, they lose and everybody, oh man, we wish we had them.
And I just don't understand how you can get rid of cancer and what they get after the cancer, because the cancer looked pretty damn good when you had it, obviously, because you was winning. How you cut out a tumor and you get worse? Yeah. You got misdiagnosed. Somebody. Like Tomlin. But speaking of real quick, talking about cancers, with all this Antonio Brown sexual assault, rape, whatever they want to phrase it as, I just want to point out, has there been anyone in the NFL who had their sexual assault swept under the rug, like Ben Roethlisberger? It's almost like people have forgotten.
Yes.
Which is crazy to me. No one in the history of this league I have seen have a sexual assault case just go unheard of.
To what?
Like Joe Mixon. We all know what happened at Oklahoma, right?
Mm-hmm.
They still don't even have his face on Madden yet. It's like, bro.
go out their way. They go out their way. Like same thing, but go back to Ray Lewis when they got back to the Super Bowl. They brought back the murder case. I'm like, bro, like that was a whole career. That was a whole career ago. Like, come on, like that's the funny part. But like I said, Steelers. It's time for a humbling experience, or I would say, because Mason Rudolph, he ain't it.
At all.
And if he is it, I mean, y'all ain't making the playoffs now, so you can just you can go ahead and kiss that goodbye. And the funny thing about it, like you already said,
I was gonna say they might finish last, and then I see us against the 49ers. So we still might be holding that last spot down, but they gonna be on the couch passing the popcorn. I tell you that much.
the fact that you already said poor Mike Tomlin, and the funny thing about it was it's definitely poor Mike Tomlin because he's not gonna get the assurance that the other coaches that they had in their franchise have. Because if I think about it, I know a Steelers fan told me today, "Oh, y'all been trained since '95." I'm like, okay, cool. We still gonna roll with that joke. Bill Cowher had a whole bunch of mediocre years before he got Ben Roethlisberger. Let's be honest. Like they might have been, winning seasons or, decent seasons or whatever, but they was
the winning season don't matter. Ain't that what they always say? Oh, but what you do with it? I remember when they had Tommy Maddox as their QB.
Yes, Tommy Maddox. They went through a whole situation of mediocre years. Let's not act like they don't. And Bill Cowher was afforded the time, the necessary resources, to everything to get it together. Mike Tomlin's not gonna get that. They gave him a 1-year extension and all that. He's not gonna get that time. He's gonna be done after this offseason. They may let him finish out the year because it don't make sense to fire him because Keith Butler ain't really that nice as a defensive coordinator to take over. They don't really have somebody in place to take over. So he may finish the year out, but this offseason he's getting fired, and I'm sorry.
100%. Speaking of getting fired, how long before the Dolphins actually, complete their rebuild just in time to fire Brian Flores so he can watch all his work?
This is Steve Wilkes. This is Steve Wilkes all over again. Mm-hmm. Once again, there's no need to fire him during the year because what's the point? We're tanking. They're tanking. They're clearly tanking. Clear as day.
I feel like they're going to try and get as many trades as they can get, acquire those draft picks. If it's not this year, it's probably going to be next year.
Oh no, they're not letting him finish. They're not letting him finish nothing. Like this is Steve Wilkes all over again. They're going to try to blame him for this. This is horrible. Like what they're doing. And they're going to try to blame him. They're going to try to get one of these hot shot. Because, it's Miami. You can sell Miami still, even though it's trash. But with all the draft picks that they have, you can sell this to a coach.
Oh, 100%.
And once again, if a better named coach comes along, they're going to get this job. I'm sorry, Brian Flores. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
are the Saints done?
I do it, yes. But I just feel I've seen everything that Taysom Hill has done, and then don't they got Teddy Bridgewater too?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what to think. I don't. Yes, Drew Brees is an all-time great, but it's not like Drew Brees got the same arm he once had. He ain't really pushing it down the field, like he used to, throwing it 50 times a game. It's become more of a balanced offense. And, to me, Teddy Bridgewater wasn't a bad quarterback before he got his whole leg blowed up. And so, I don't know. You got a running game. You got Alvin Kamara. You got Latavius Murray. And, when you lose a quarterback, it's going to take some adjustment period because you want to see, you got to retool your offense. But Sean Payton is an offensive genius.
He's going to put Teddy in, like you said, in a position to win. So that's going to be. I think they're going to stay afloat till Drew Brees get back. Not the issue that I have, but the only fortunate thing that they have is their division is overrated.
That was gonna be my next thing. Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Do we know what Atlanta is?
We know what Atlanta is. Atlanta don't want. They don't want to win. Like they don't want.
And then you got Carolina.
I don't know what's going on in Carolina.
Cam throwing like Tim Tebow with his right arm.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
So the division, so you say this overrated division that they in, all they got to do is
when Andrew Luck came back, it took him a little bit to really get comfortable pushing the ball down the field.
Yeah.
So I don't know if as time goes on, he's like, okay, I can do this, and he gets some confidence in that arm. So that's a possibility. But just right now,
I just really seen accuracy issues with Cam more so than I seen like actual power. Yeah.
But Cam ain't never really been that accurate because the way Cam throws, it almost like he's shot putting it. And so he's always missed a lot of players high. But now it's like he'll miss them high, he'll miss them short, and it's just like
this different though.
Yeah, he's all over the place. So this right here is something a little bit different. So it's just like personally, I want to see Cam get his thing together. Mm-hmm. So I'm rooting for him. We rooting for you, Cam. Mm-hmm. But ain't looking too good to play for.
But the only thing, like I said, once again, they had 2 games that they could have won, that they were in. So you can be positive, you can be optimistic about that. Like you say, just put your foot down. Like, hey, let's get it together.
Whoever called that sweep, that looked real Scott Linehan, Bill Lazor-ish.
Bruh.
That was a terrible play call.
That was awful.
Cam arm is bad, and I don't know how much y'all trying to put him through, but when you 6'3", 240, 250,
go get that yard.
Go get that yard, big dog.
Yeah, go get that yard.
When they called that play, I might have checked at the line like, hey, look, Omaha.
I'm getting the yard.
I'm taking this thing right up the good.
My thing was, if he's not healthy, you still throwing the ball 40, 50 times like that.
So you might as well let him take a hit.
You might as well. That's the thing about that one.
I mean, we done seen Cam been in car accidents. He done got hit more than almost every other quarterback in the league besides about 4 of them. This one 4th and 1 ain't really gonna hurt you that much.
That's the part this last 4th and 1 right here.
Car accidents, dog, and you came back and played. Go ahead, take this hit.
We got the 3-man Weed Fantasy League. We got a lot of people in there, and what we want to do is show our gratification, our appreciation for them actually playing it. So each week we're gonna have. You heard me. We got a question. What did I say?
Gratification. I think it's gratitude.
Gratification didn't work?
I don't think so.
Dang, bro. You could have just let me rock, though.
I did. My bad. I've been dragging a little bit, so I was like, what? But we're going to edit that out. Edit point.
No, we gotta let that rock. See, this is what happened with Cat and I here. This was, see, every time it's always something. But anyway, like I was trying to say, I want to thank them for playing. Basically, my guy TJ, Global Warfare, very good fantasy player. Been a loyal supporter since day one. I gave him the first shot at giving us a topic, something to touch on right quick, and he sent me. It's funny. He sent me, he's a Jets fan and they playing Monday night right now, but it's funny. He sent me Eli Manning's career record, and it's 116. So we know for a fact that Eli's going to finish below 500. So he was like, come on, bro, that's not Hall of Fame numbers. That's not a Hall of Fame light. And I know the whole thing went around. You can't spell elite without Eli. Couldn't do all that. But let's be honest, bro. This is one of the most overrated quarterbacks, maybe of all time. Like, he came from a quarterback pedigree, and he riding the wave of his pops and his brother for the longest. Like, let's be honest right now, bro.
Eli Manning might be the 4th or 5th best player in his family. Bro. Eli Manning honestly was just he had the pedigree. I'm not gonna say he didn't do what he was supposed to do in those key moments.
Fact.
But Eli Manning should not even sniff the Hall of Fame. It should not be close. Yes, you have 2 Super Bowl rings, but those 2 Super Bowl rings came off of some mediocre years. I believe they were 9-7 both of those years.
Facts. That's a fact.
So it's not like Eli Manning, he was just super lighting the league up and was in top his brother. When his brother was in the league, it's like, is he the best in the game right now?
You're supposed to be one of them.
To me, this ain't the NBA.
Yeah.
This ain't the NBA Hall of Fame.
When they let Bali Divi get in.
Yeah, like this is you actually got a ball. You actually got to be like, you know what? He's the monster. And Eli, man, to me, when you talking about a Hall of Famer, in my eyes, if you have to convince or try and talk yourself into someone being a Hall of Famer, they're not a Hall of Famer.
Like, it's definitely a couple dudes that got in. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, y'all being real generous.
Exactly, and like I said before, because they've been married together because it always happens when you're in the same draft class, especially what Archie had constructed to get Eli Manning out of San Diego into New York. I'd take Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame way before I put Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame. Yes, Eli Manning has those two Super Bowls, but if you just look at purely skill and just straight talent, to me, Phillip Rivers takes the cake. Like, to me, it's no debate. No debate. I'm taking Phillip Rivers over Eli Manning.
To be quite honest, though, I'd be cool if both of them don't get in.
Oh, no, 100%. But to me, I think Phillip Rivers has a better chance than Eli Manning, even though Eli Manning has Super Bowls if you just look up career stats and what you consider them as. Because, remember, Phillip Rivers had some elite years. Even though they didn't necessarily make it, I put that on a lot of their coaching staff also, and not just on Phillip Rivers, their team kind of laid eggs. Like, they had 14-2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
But then he turned into a whole thought in the playoffs, like
100%. But he had elite seasons, though. You know, it's a. Even though he never got that chip, there's been players who have, you know, they've been elite. Like I said, that before Peyton Manning got his Super Bowls, it was like he always nut up in the playoffs. Mind you, yes, it was against some tough competition. It was almost like he could not get over the Patriots, but eventually he got a Super Bowl. I mean, that one in Denver, he was basically a shell of himself. But
they needed him, though.
They needed him when it came time to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do. But just off of purely skill, I mean, you know, it's hard as hell to win a Super Bowl. It's hard as hell to win a Super Bowl. So, to me personally, when it comes to all-time great stats, to me, the Super Bowl isn't the end-all, be-all person because, like we said in our previous segment, it's so many moving parts on the football field. It's hard. It's hard. The Patriots have us jaded, where it's like, oh, you just because you walk on the field and you have a grade, you're supposed to win it. Nah, it don't work like that.
I know. I told a Giants fan, I'm like, please don't play Daniel Jones this year.
Nope.
What's the point?
He don't deserve that. He don't deserve it. Just let Eli's career is over. Let him get CTE. And just, honestly, if he got CTE, nobody would notice. Have you seen the look on Eli's face?
Yeah, they could not notice that at all. My thing is though, just don't. I mean, you don't have wide receiver weapons. To be quite honest, you don't have the right weapons. Yeah, Sterling Shepard was out with a concussion, but you got Cody Lattimore, like for real. Like your only viable real weapon is Evan Ingram. You still gotta improve offensive line, but they're not really that. You know what I'm saying? They're not really that good yet.
They're not there
It's
yet.
like, why would you throw? Why would you? What is the benefit of Daniel Jones getting thrown out there right now?
You don't want your quarterback seeing ghosts. It's
Not even
David Carson. It's the David Carson syndrome.
Not even that. Let's say for instance that Daniel Jones comes in here and he lights it up. All you doing now is just messing up your draft slot.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So it's like, y'all gonna be just good enough to just mess up your draft spot. It's gonna be the difference between you drafting a Khalil Mack and you drafting a Marcus Davenport. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what? This draft coming up from what it seems like is very weak on the offensive line, which they kind of still need to build through. But outside of that, there's tons of wide receiver talent in this league. I mean, in this draft, definitely defensive line. Defensive line talent is ridiculous in this draft. So if you want a top flight wide receiver or you want a good, pass rusher, tank.
But I'm not even saying tank. I'm just saying just don't mess up the draft spot. Because you're going to be in the draft. You're going to be one of the ones in the draft. Just don't mess it up. It's the difference between you drafting 4th and you drafting 13th.
Oh, like, no, 100%. And I don't care how. So,
you know,
Miami's still going to have the number 1 overall pick.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And to me, as I don't want to sound like a hater, if they tank and they get Tua or Herbert, they just going to be tanking again because I just don't see those two being good NFL quarterbacks.
We can get there we can cross that bridge when we get there. My thing about, well, since you brought up Miami, why isn't Josh Rosen in the game? Like, you got to at least see what you got in him. Like, just.
How?
But my thing is, you got to at least. But this is what I'm saying is, you know what you got in Fitzpatrick. Nothing. Like, nothing. Ain't no magic coming in Miami. So you can at least see if Josh Rosen can at least handle something. Like, handle something. But you may not have to. He may show you something, some glances that, you know what, we may have a quarterback already. And let we use this draft capital on everything else. But what you can't do is have him on the bench and watch Ryan Fitzpatrick do nothing.
But you know what I think is going to happen? They're not gonna put in Josh Rosen because they still want that unknown to be there. Because at the end of the day, what is the NFL? NFL teams always still want. They want quarterbacks. So if you don't put him in with a trash team, you're not putting trash on tape because there's nothing good around him. So you still have that opportunity to possibly trade him. Maybe what they trade him for, a second?
I don't know. I forgot.
Yeah, they traded him for something, but you can still possibly get a draft pick for him. And so they can use that or draft capital, things along those lines. They don't put anything bad on tape. And once Brian Flores get fired anyway, a new coach always wants his own quarterback. So, yeah. I mean, they could possibly keep Josh Rosen on there just as an insurance plan, but he's not necessarily going to be a long-term starter. Josh Rosen is not going to be the starter in 3 years.
Wasn't that your guy? Wasn't that your guy, though? What you thought?
But yes, that was definitely my guy. But also,
I just want to throw that in.
I told you this the other day. I would still take Josh Rosen on my team because I still think that he was on a tanking team in Arizona, and they wanted to bring it. Cliff Kingsbury came in. He wanted to bring his own coach. He somehow he got to Miami. I'd still take Josh Rosen on my team right now, and I would be like, yo, Andy, I'm trading you for a conditional 5th round pick. And I love Andy, but
no, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I really do.
Don't love me if I'm Andy.
I really do, but I'm just capped out, bro. I've been here long enough. I know what you are, and I need something with some type of ceiling. Like,
all right. Let me reel you back in. I don't want you to go.
I was heading down the rabbit hole.
I know. Have you seen the finale? The season finale of Snowfall?
Yes, and I'm still. I feel like I'm Mel. Like if I don't know crack. Okay, I don't know if I was having a flashback, if I was in the future. Like, when did this man go to college?
He went to college. Like I said, he went to college. When did everybody have babies?
He went to college, Mel clean. I think, so is this before crack, after crack? They had rehab centers back in the 80s?
When did Leon have a baby? With Wanda?
Wanda's not on crack no more? When did everybody get clean? How did they get them clean when everybody's still on crack?
Then on top of that, he come out the ice bath like Cam and Greg Olsen out of the commercial. He come out the ice bath with no wounds. How you just took 3 guns?
He walking with a cane and he's 26. I'm so confused.
He took 3 shots, ate them. He the new 50 Cent. Like, bruh. Then hold on. Then man,
did he go to the hospital?
He went to the locker room.
They gave him the cortisone shot.
I don't know what he said. He comes up. Then they say he ain't out the game. The only thing that did make sense was the deal that he made with Reed. Reed was his teacher. Reed was his teacher, recruiter, all that. How you? Oh my God, yo, man, boy, his squad killed everybody.
They just ride down the
Nobody shoot Jerome.
Yeah, so everybody just Stacy. He just Stacy used to beat up everybody, picking everybody up from school dances, but now he just walking out with the heat. Don't shoot Jerome. Just it's dead bodies on the ground. You're not even curious to watch Jerome walking up around.
Nobody shoots Jerome. Two crews. They didn't shot everybody else up. Jerome just walking too cool for school. Nobody shoots Jerome. I mean, I didn't want Jerome to get shot, but I'm just saying.
I didn't want Jerome to get shot either, but
you didn't shot everybody else. Why is that?
Why you sparing Jerome?
It was, but the funny thing, yeah, my wife was so mad. Like, she got so frustrated. Like, I couldn't even talk to her for like 30 minutes. But it was like, it was so much symbolism, so much. They did a lot on this finale.
Yeah, but I just don't know where it came from.
That was the confusing part. But
what?
Is it over? Is it over? Is it another season?
So from what I read that it got. So I was so confused. I'm like, hey, did they get approved for another season, or something? So they got another season because after the season happened, I was like, maybe Franklin's dead, and he's just imagining what his life could have been had he not, gotten involved in the stuff that he got involved in, or he got out earlier, and that's why Reed was recruiter and stuff like that. But then I'm like, but then how are these other people still dying and and stuff like that? I was just,
where was the babies coming from?
Answers. But bro, I literally have no answers.
Okay.
And I'm so glad this wasn't the series finale because I know you didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I would have had to seriously put this up there like, yo, which is worse, the Game of Thrones finale or the Snowfall finale? They better come out with another season, and I swear, oh God, that they better not pull nothing like this again. I'm writing a sternly worded letter.
And in contrast, Power's cooking up. I don't care what anybody got to say. The acting is bad, or the theme song is bad, or whatever. The storyline is cooking up.
I'm a couple episodes behind because somebody won't let me watch it without them, and they're not caught up. So
wow.
I'm a couple episodes behind on Power.
I feel that. That's a
So I'm a couple episodes behind on Power, but
so we ain't gonna talk.
The acting is very bad, but I'm gonna take your word for it when you say that the storyline is cooking up.
Storyline.
Maybe I'll watch the episode tonight.
I hope so, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just, put your foot down. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
you know what? I'm about to make some demands around here.
That's what you got to do sometimes, bro.
Sometimes. Yeah, I be trying. Look, this about to change. A change gonna come.
Don't let me gas you. And you get messed up. Don't let this heel gas. Don't let none of this podcast mess none of this real life up. Don't let real life. Don't put the mic down and then next thing you know.
Hey, y'all, I can't record this week.
Yeah, cause your eye black. Get your shades on. Well, what I want to do right now is I want to throw you a oop, and hopefully you catch it this week. Cause last week we had the Democratic debate, which I didn't watch. I chose to watch football. Cause
right.
Me personally, I'm voting Democrat regardless. It's job purposes. Whatever people what they vote is what they vote. I don't get into it with people with their political stance. I'm just telling you, I have a job that's Democratic dependent. So I'm going to vote Democrat till that changes. We had CBC this weekend in DC. We also had the Revolt Summit.
Yes, the Revolt Summit.
Which I seen that, which was very riveting. That was the right word, Michelle?
Yes.
There we go. Oh, God. Not the clap, though. But, which was very enlightening, very powerful. That's how most of the time, because I'm really not political, so I lean on people I respect. And I respect a Killer Mike. When he talks, I listen.
As you should.
And
That's for
you know,
sure.
so certain people like that. I'm not gonna go on the whole list of what I do or who I value, but that's what I do because I'm not. If you come in the hill for politics, you better turn around. You lost.
Yeah,
So what I want to
yeah.
do is give you the time or you know, explain what was going on this weekend. You know, or what's going. Are we in trouble? Are Democrats in trouble?
Oh, Trump getting another term, bro. Look, everyone that has asked me, I had a debate. What was it on Sunday about the debates and everything? Trump gonna win because the Democrats are gonna do exactly what they did to lose to Trump the first time. They're gonna pick the candidate that they think is the most popular and will get black people to vote. That's why they picked Hillary. The best candidate in 2016 was Bernie Sanders. The best candidate for the black people and minority was Bernie Sanders. But what happens is Bernie Sanders, he's too radical with his policies that like the centralists and those like borderline Democrats, they don't necessarily like what he's talking about because Bernie Sanders, look, he was like, all this got to change. Climate change, yeah, it's real. We got to fix that. This whole systematic and criminal justice system that we have going on, yeah, all that got to change. Bernie Sanders, he's here to overthrow the powers that be. So all these top, 1% people who get their pockets greased off of the politics and this such, he's trying to shut all that down. He's trying to be actually for the people, and what he's supposed to be is a politician of the people. But what's hurting his case is he looked like a mad scientist, bro. He looked like he all disheveled. He looked like Einstein, his hair all over the place. He's old, and when he talks, he angry because he's so passionate. Because Bernie Sanders really sees, like, I feel like Bernie Sanders is like has come to the future. What was the from Back to the Future? I can't remember his name.
You gonna get me to messing that up?
Yeah, no, I feel like that's him. I feel like that's Bernie Sanders reincarnated. He came from the future, and he's seen what happens if he don't become the president. All this shit's gonna crash and burn. He's like, no, I'm trying to tell y'all, put me in office. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna take us to the promised land. California not gonna break off from America. Antarctica not gonna flood the earth because everything froze. He's just trying to warn us, and nobody's listening. Bernie Sanders.
Can I interject?
Absolutely.
Is it? He's always been this radical. He's always been this amped up and passionate. Is it? Do you think he's being extra Bernie now because he's seeing how Trump is acting in his term, or how his campaign came to fruition, and how he's acting in office? Are you thinking he's using that game plan to try to fuel his support?
I think it's organic. I think it's just kind of how he is and what the chain of events have really brought him to. It's just like, how can you, like, I need y'all. We got to do this. And Bernie I think Bernie and Elizabeth Warren are the two best shots that we have to really make change. I think Democrats are either going to go Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, which I think Trump is going to wipe the floor with either one of those if they ever get into debates. I just think because you can bring up so much in Joe Biden and Kamala's past, especially Kamala Harris, you have a lot of those centralists, and not to necessarily say it's going to be hard for a woman, let alone a black woman, to kind of get the middle to upper class white man vote. And that's just being honest. What Kamala would have to do is she would have to really organize a lot of the young votes and the young voters, and I think it's going to be hard, especially when people kind of dig up her past and her inconsistencies of what she's talking about now and what she has actually put into action when she was the district attorney in California. And so it's just like, it's going to hurt her. And so my idea is like, look, Joe Biden, I think Joe Biden got CTE. He be forgetting everything. He literally got on stage and told a story and got the timing of the story wrong. The person and what he was there for, he got it wrong. He even got his involvement in what he actually did and why he was in the story wrong. Bro, how did you get how you were involved in this wrong?
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
When he was vice president, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody loved Joe Biden.
You know why? Because Joe Biden didn't speak that often. And now that he's speaking, we realize that, like, hey, he kind of stupid.
Now, don't give me no. That's a fact. But listen, like, everybody loved Joe. Once again, he didn't speak.
You know why? You know why everybody loved Joe? Because Joe rode for Obama. It seemed like Joe rode for Obama and was like, nah, this is my man. I'm gonna hold him down. So when he became a candidate, now all of a sudden his past comes to the light, and I'm sitting there like, now everybody just against Joe. I'm like, and once again, I'm not political, so you know why it's starting to come to the light. Think of it like when Kyrie Irving was with the Cavaliers. Kyrie Irving, he was doing his thing. He was getting all this praise. Then he went to the Celtics. All of his flaws start getting exposed. It's like, are you really a leader? Are you really this? Can you really handle this? People start digging into kind of like the nuances of his game and saying, can you really win with him? Things like that. It's the same as Joe. When you Obama's vice president, you a sidekick, only your positives get exposed. But when you become the man, they're gonna start digging in. They're gonna start digging a little deeper. They're gonna pull them layers back, and that's what's happening to Joe Biden.
Wow.
Now that he's in the limelight, people are starting to dig back on how he voted on policies. People are starting to dig back onto his history, and now people are actually asking him questions directly, and now he has to answer them as his own man and not as Obama would. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That brought everything to fruition for me. Like, that made sense. So you knew who you was talking to, and you sold it.
God
like,
damn, I'm good.
Yeah, you sold that. I'm like, bro, that made perfect sense to me, cause that analogy just hit. But that Revolt Summit, that's what I really went back and looked at, and I seen
Killer Mike shut that shit down.
Oh man, like he started hitting on points that, which I've had conversation with people before, and they started. I'm like, okay, I heard this before. This makes sense. I noticed what he's talking about. This makes sense. And he made it make sense. So, and it's like,
all we've ever really asked, like, yo, we need someone to make it make sense, so that way people can start to understand. Because there's a lot of people, and when I say this, I'm not saying it in a pejorative term. There's a lot of people like you who don't really care about politics.
Oh.
And so it's like we gotta have people out there, because what a lot of politicians do is they speak like politicians. They don't break it down in a way where it's like, I don't know about politics. You're talking to me about all these policies, using these terms, and going back to these past cases. I don't know about none of that. Talk to me. How can it benefit me? And I think that's what a lot of what K.O.N.Y does, and that's why I really respect what he's doing. And one thing that he really sold me on is saying that black people need to register as independents and make them earn your vote. And I was telling people this over the so much because we don't never do our research. We just do it because we're supposed to. We go to this church and we follow this because that's just what we do. That's what our parents did. That's what we was told to do. We Democrats is because that's just what we was told to do. But what K.O.N.Y said is be independent and tell them if you want the black vote, these are our most pressing issues. We may not all agree on every single one of But as a whole, we all experience this, and this is what we need. Can you meet them? If not, I'll holler at you.
But what he said, like, piggyback on that, when he was like, okay, you got a point. Okay, you got a point. Okay, you got a point. Can we all come together and come as one and have a whole game plan and present it to whoever that we're talking to? And I'm like, that's what we've been saying on here for the longest. Like, can
Absolutely.
we, right? And that was, I'm like, bro, he made it sound so simple. I'm
Exactly.
like, and I'm like, hold on, I've been seeing Killer Mike like everywhere. I've been seeing him on the Breakfast Club. I've seen him on CNN. I've been seeing him. We've seen he's visible. Why hasn't this message been on the platform for the masses that we all can marinate with?
Because of it's just now becoming expected from a man named Killer Mike to talk to you about politics and how to better your people. Because it's like a lot of people, like, think of not your mom, but your mom's mom. If she heard a man named Killer Mike trying to tell her how to better her people, she's gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
And so sometimes the messenger can mask the message. And I think previously that's what's being done. But now in the millennial age that we're in and where we control so much power and our generation becoming the generation, now that message isn't getting lost. We're starting to understand and we're starting to hear because he's talking to us and he is one of us.
Well, that was good.
Yeah.
But we
Get
got
well soon, Cannon.
yeah, cause that was, he definitely would have jumped in on that. Cannon,
Absolutely,
as people know, Cannon definitely loves politics. I'm not gonna say he loves politics, but he's definitely very informative with politics. So he definitely would have had his 2 cents in. And we definitely gonna have a social media debate about it. We're gonna definitely talk about it. The conversation doesn't have to die. That's just not my strong suit. So I concede to my brothers that let them pop out, throw the oop. Like I said, throw the oop.
We didn't know it.
Make sure they catch it. We on all major podcast platforms, 3Man Weave. We on Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _. We have a Facebook group, 3Man Weave group. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. The Cowboys are 2-0. I'm Hill. It's AJ. We out, baby.
And the big ol' suck.
We out.
Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave. We come at you with topics. No, you cannot stop it.